Figueroa. Cherry. Edwards. Kiko. King. Lonis. Mastroni.
All right, you have electronically forwarded the minutes of the June 1st meeting. Any additions or corrections to those minutes?
It's on, you just gotta put it.
It's on?
There you go.
All right, where were we at? Okay, you've electronically forwarded the minutes from the last meeting. Any additions or corrections? Seeing none, they will be filed as they were forwarded. Communications, Ms. Green.
I have the items listed on the agenda with no additions.
I did have one question.
Yes.
Communications. I submitted my 3 finance committee notes to the receptionist at City Hall last week, Friday. It was actually last Friday,
I never received them, so I'll check with them.
I did ask the person to give it to Tatiana, which was present, employed at that time, I believe.
I will.
There was quite a bit, just 3 finance committee notes.
I'll see what I can come up with.
Okay. If not, I can provide you another copy.
Okay.
Did you get the copy of the water supervisory?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, let's go on to communications.
We just said those. They have to do roll.
Motion, roll call, go ahead.
Yes, I have that request on the agenda with no additions.
All right, the items listed on the agenda, no addition. So with that, motion to file as presented, made by Ms. Kiko, second by Mr. Mastriani. On the roll.
Figueroa.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko. Yes. King.
Yes.
Lonis.
Yes.
Mastriani.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Let's go to administrative reports. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you.
It's not. Thank you, Steve. And thank you, President Garnes, and welcome City Council and citizens of Lyons. We're glad you're all here this evening. I've issued a couple handouts to council. There's nothing to vote on, just some parts of my report. First item, the City of Alliance Emergency Management Standard Operating Guideline Report that you have there. It's written by Jason Hunt, our City Fire Chief. It's an excellent report. And Chief Hunt does this every year and gets it out to all of us prior to the seasons. Of course, the summer season here, the purpose of the report is to have proper protocol for the City of Alliance during prolonged extreme heat and sub-zero freeze temperatures. It applies to all City Alliance departments, including police, fire, water, and auditor's office, and community partners as well. The policy is to prioritize life safety, core utility, grid stability, health tracking with regional partners, and accurate public notification of these extreme heat and sub-zero temperatures. Listed in the report are Alliance's cooling and heating stations. The heating stations we had in service during the winter months. So we'll be ready for the heating season. We have Rodman Public Library, Salvation Army, and Alliance Commons, and the hours for the service are listed there. The second item I have is America's 250 celebrations in Alliance, the schedule. It's updated, and I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to go yet. On Saturday, the Flags Over Glamorgan was a beautiful event put on by the Alliance Historical Society, the Alliance 250 Committee, partners, Castle Crusaders, Mr. Art Garnes, and his people, the Alliance Area Preservation Society, Alliance Parks, and Beach Creek Botanical, the Rotary, and the Alliance Chamber President Rick Baxter, and much thanks out to Karen Perrone, who's the president of the Alliance 250 Committee. So it was a great event. We have a list of all the activities that are coming before us here this summer, and it's going to be an exciting summer as well. The third item I have on my report for tonight is we're facing some many challenge issues. We've got 6 months to go in this fiscal year, and including employee contracts. We've got city board redistricting project, Alliance Fire Department ambulance feasibility study, our data center zoning ordinance, which we'll be discussing tonight, and residential and commercial code violation issues, property demos, mausoleum renovation, and affordable housing. So we've got a lot of challenges along with those projects, but also with that, we also have 15 economic development projects that are underway, and we have 2 new projects in the planning stages at this time. So between our challenges that we have remaining for us the next 6 months and economic development items that we have, it renders opportunities for council and administration to team together to create a lasting prosperity for our great city. So let's team together, let's win for our city. We could have a great next 6 months. Let's do it together. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. President. That's all I have for tonight.
Ordinance 4026 that we're being forced to vote on tonight, I have a couple questions on it. First off, why was it dropped on May 18th at 5:30? And who dropped it? As opposed to waiting to the next meeting that put us in a pinch where we have 30 days to vote on this. Okay. But somebody dropped it. I mean, why was it read at that meeting when it was dropped at 5:30 as opposed to waiting? There's no time. Now there's a time on it. Now there is. We're forced to vote tonight. And it was never costed. And you specifically said to me moving forward after those first 5 contracts that they would be costed. That wasn't done the right way and they would be costed out. This one again was not costed out. You didn't work on this? Well, who did? I don't think Kevin worked on it. So I guess the big issue is, no, I don't think you do. That's the problem. You're putting council in a horrible position again. And now the only conclusion I can draw is it's intentional. You guys are intentionally putting council in a bad position where we have to, if we accept it, and 2 years down the road we go into fiscal, you can say, well, council passed all these. If we don't accept it, you can say, well, council doesn't support the city's employees, which is the farthest thing from the truth. We can't win here. We're in a bad position. It's never been costed, and we have to vote on it tonight. How's that fair to us? Or anybody, the employees or anybody?
No, I agree, it isn't. But I didn't work on that, I'm sorry.
Which your administration, correct?
We would like to hear the response. We're hearing one, we're not the other.
Speak
It is on. Yeah.
I got it. So you want us to pass this even though it doesn't follow the trend either?
That's up to you. That's up to you, Chris.
You agree with this contract though?
Yes, yes, I do. I agree with all of it. And you've had this now for how many months now? You've had it for 3 weeks.
We've had this for 30 days. And it's never been costed. You negotiated it for how long? You never costed it out.
I negotiated.
Your administration. You are an extension of your administration. You picked these people to do the job, correct? You put us, when you were the finance chair on this council, you would have laughed at this. You would have said, no way, that's not
It
acceptable.
wouldn't happen. Right.
What's happening and your administration's doing it.
We'll take care of it. We'll take care of it.
Well, there's nothing to take care of because we have to vote tonight now. So.
Can I have a follow-up?
Mr. Mayor, just a follow-up to Councilman Buguera's questions. The way I see it, the drop at 5:30 had to be a decision by administration or by the clerk of council. So which one decided to drop the,
I gotta find out what that is, Don. I don't know what that is.
we can only go from two sources. So,
I have to find out what the sources are. You're right. I hear you. I hear
Okay.
you. Let me find out what they are.
once again, to reiterate with, because their answer wasn't really given, there's no costing, no explanation. And then there's an abandonment from the pattern that you spoke many times verbally and also provided paperwork for us. What was that pattern? It was a 2-3-3 with removal of the bottom tier, creation of an upper tier, which gave an additional 4. So in reality, it was a 6-3-3. What is this supervisor, police supervisor rate? It's 8-3-3. No bottom tier removal, no creation of an upper tier. So there is no pattern, or if the pattern was there, it was ignored. And just wondering why it was important with the previous 4 contracts to view it as a 2-3-3 with a 4% increase. And yet this doesn't even have a tier, it's just 8%, not 2%.
I hear you. I will check into it. I promise you that.
But once again, we have to, as we move forward, that we have to decide tonight. And that's putting us into a situation.
Can you do
Okay,
that?
all right. All right. Thank you for your time.
Any other questions from the mayor?
I don't need a mic. I can't understand. Mayor, I can't understand. It came in at 5:30, but back in 2018, our policy stated anybody in the city who wants to introduce an ordinance, you got Tuesday at 2:30 to drop them, give the girls time to actually type up the correct ordinance so that there won't be mistakes, because we have been getting ordinances with mistakes and they say that the original one will be amended. But if it's amended, we all should get a copy of the amended ordinance to make sure it was done. The policies that is in place is not being followed, and especially when it comes down to arbitration for wages and whatnot. You can't drop an ordinance at 5:30 on Friday and expect us to come and vote on something come Monday morning. Not when you got pages this big. 5:30 on Monday, and that's really sad. It shouldn't have never hit the floor. Whoever had it should have kept it till the next time around Tuesday and dropped it like policy says. This has been going on for quite some time with the administration. I'm not pointing the fingers, but the public, we the people, is looking at us like we're doing a bad job. But it's not. If it wasn't given to us properly, we cannot vote on anything. And like I told you at the last session, I've been gone twice because I've been down sick. But for us, we are here for the people and to make sure that the people are taken care of by our vote. And it's not being done properly. So I want everybody to know we're not getting things the way we should, and it doesn't fall on us. It falls on the administration.
At this point in time, we are beyond the authority time for the public hearing, so I would accept a motion to vote, recess the council meeting and go into public session. Mr. Mastroni.
Yeah, excuse me. I'll make a motion to go into public hearing.
Moved and seconded. Second. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your hands if you have your phone. All in favor, going to.
We're doing a roll call?
Well, except for.
Roll call.
You've got more than you.
Do the roll call now.
Yeah.
Figueroa.
Yes.
Sherry.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Lonis.
Yes.
Mastroni.
Yes.
Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to just read the public notice that was sent out to start. So this is a City of Alliance City Council in compliance with ORC 112 or 121.22 hereby gives public notice of the following meeting, June 15th, 2026 at 6:15 p.m. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss a request to amend Part 11 of the Planning and Zoning Code of the Alliance Codified Ordinances by amending Section 1122.03, making data centers a permitted use in an I-2, which is a general industrial district. And so that concludes this. And I just want to make sure so everybody's clear that's giving public speaks. This is a text amendment to our zoning code. This is not a specific project that we're talking about. We are looking at updating our zoning code text because our zoning code currently does not address data centers. So this is our attempt to address data centers within our text of our zoning code.
Okay, all right, now.
Typically, when we do a public speaking, a public hearing, we go pro, con. Well, the way it's written out, we only have one person in favor. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have him go first, and then we're going to go down all of the others. So what you will need to do is, when your name is called, come to the podium, state your name, address, you will have 3 minutes. Now, at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll raise my hand. You need to summarize. And I encourage you again, as I did the people who spoke at the last city council, don't let the emotion override the factual information you want the council to have to make this decision. So, with that, Mr. Theodore, you have the first roll.
Summarize some 52 pages again. So, all right. Hey, my name is Mark Feedor. I'm president of Morgan Engineering here in Alliance, and I'm going to use that as my address, if that's okay with everybody. 1049 South Mahoney Avenue. 1049 South Mahoney Avenue. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Let me start with something simple. Did everybody in the room raise their hand if they use a cell phone? Okay, everybody's got one? Good. So you participate every day in the use of the data center. Whether you realize it or not. We send emails, stream video, or run a business, we're relying on the infrastructure housed inside data centers. The question before us is whether or not they matter. The question is whether or not Alliance will participate in that economy, or we will watch it grow somewhere else. In the past, communities grow around railroads, then highways, industrial hubs. Imagine if Charles Lamborn and Elijah Teeters would not have went to Pittsburgh in 1868 to seek out the first industrial revolution, to bring Thomas Morgan to Alliance. A lot of us wouldn't probably be here today. Growth today is being driven by the digital infrastructure, the fourth industrial revolution. Data centers are the backbone of an economy that support business, healthcare, education, and emerging technologies. This isn't a short-term trend, it's a long-term shift in how the world operates. Data centers generate significant property tax revenue for communities, often with less strain on city services, traditional developments. That means more support for schools, infrastructure, and public, without increasing the burden on residents if it is structured correctly. There will be hundreds of construction jobs that will come into the community temporarily on a much smaller scale. 50 jobs.
I hear another person outline, we're gonna have you escorted out. Please give him the respect.
On a much smaller scale, 50 jobs on average for long-term, high-paying technical maintenance are employed. That is a significant sized business in Alliance. Anyone beyond those direct jobs, the ripple effect supporting local contractors, suppliers, and service businesses. Across Ohio, the industry has brought billions of dollars of private capital into communities, investment flowing into our local economy without relying on taxpayers. Now, with that said, it's important to acknowledge there are real concerns in a community like ours. The people are right to ask questions about energy, use, water consumption, and how these facilities impact land use and the quality of life. And there is fair skepticism about whether long-term job creation matches the level of investment. I think the right way to look at this is that none of these concerns, power, water, jobs, or taxes, are wrong. They're all legitimate, but they're also all manageable if the project is structured correctly from our leadership. Electricity, water, come down to engineering, how the facility is designed and how infrastructure costs are allocated. The PUE rating of a state-of-the-art data center is a 1.1, which means 85% of the power consumption goes to compute and 15% goes to the cooling. In today's units, data centers use air primarily than water. The jobs are real, but this isn't a labor-intensive project. It's a long-term investment in a tax-based play. And taxes depend on how the incentives are structured by everybody here. So the real question isn't whether the concerns, the question is whether we have the discipline to structure this in a way that protects Alliance from capturing long-term benefits. So in the end, data centers are just not a building. If we approach it thoughtfully and with the right safeguards and expectations, this can be a win for our community. That's why I'm for this data center rezoning.
Thank you.
All right, next speaker will be Stephanie Lambert. Stephanie, please go to the podium, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Stephanie Lambert. I live at 2327 Watson Avenue. I'm channeling with my legal pad today and some of my quotes, Erin Brockovich. If any of you haven't heard her, look her up. See what she's into nowadays. If we had a functioning EPA, this conversation would not be necessary. If a data center is built here, we can expect warmer temperatures on an average of 16 degrees Fahrenheit for over a 6-mile radius. In a 9-mile town, that is 2/3 of our city. I can speak to this specifically because 1 year ago, less 1 week, we experienced what's called a heat bowl. We had record high temperatures. I missed most of it, and I'd really like to tell you why. I am susceptible to heat stroke, as are many in our community. So I fainted as a direct result of the heat, and I severely broke my ankle in my fall. I spent the next 6 days and the worst of the heat bowl in the hospital. I had 2 surgeries, external fixators, and then a 3rd surgery to install a plate and almost 20 screws into my living tissue and bones. I couldn't walk for over 2 months. I will never be able to forget that my bones had broken there. This type of thing is common when the temperatures are that high. We already deal with this. How often does our power already flicker or go out here in Alliance City? Who is going to pay for the infrastructure updates that would be necessary to have a data center here? Our electric bills are already getting higher and higher every single month. So who is going to keep their burden on our systems out of our pockets? It's going to have to be you guys. This is your job. Our reservoirs are precious. You should all be working to protect them. They make our areas special, and signing them up to be polluted and drained is wrong. I've heard that competition from China may be a compelling argument for some of you for more data centers here in Ohio. Well, China has the entire country has less than 500 data centers. We have thousands already. We have over 200 just in Ohio. We do not need more here. Well, I had more, but obviously we can't all have our full say.
Every time.
Members of the council, my name's Ashley Huff. I'm a homeowner here in Alliance. I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration with a minor in accounting. I've worked in IT for over 15 years now as an integration specialist for a B corporation out of Cleveland. I'm not here to view the ordinance through the lens of political hype. I evaluate it through the cold, unyielding reality of a balance sheet. From a strict fiduciary and auditing perspective, the ordinance 19-26 represents a catastrophic structural deficit disguised as economic development. Let's look directly at the columns. The tech lobby tells you that changing our zoning codes to invite data centers is free. It's a mathematically provable lie. Look across Stark County right now. Kansas City Council and Perry Township trustees rolled over and handed Amazon 30 years, 75% property tax abatement. As someone trained in asset valuation and risk mitigation, I'm telling you that a 30-year, 75% write-off of our heaviest industrial land is a subprime local investment. Industry data confirms that while a hyperscale project requires temporary construction trades, it ultimately operates as an automated ghost town, fewer than 30 permanent jobs. Trading 75% of our long-term property tax base for 30 jobs is a fiscal joke. And I want you to know here that our heavy industrial area is being marketed at 100% property tax abatement. Worse, look at the externalized operating costs. The facilities are resource parasites. A single hyperscale facility consumes 5 million gallons of water every single day just to cool its processors. Furthermore, data centers over-allocated our regional electrical grid. According to data from regional grid operator PJM Interconnection, benchmark capacity prices skyrocketed by 833%, due squarely to data center over demand. PJM explicitly warned that local taxpayers are the ones who ultimately absorb the cost of regional transmission upgrades through increased monthly bills. If you approve the zoning change, you are forcing everyday families in Alliance to pay higher electric bills to subsidize big tech's power grid. Right now, state lawmakers have introduced legislation to put an emergency cap on these local tax abatements because the state has already bled $1.568 billion in lost revenue. Plain Township and Canton Township have the financial foresight to pass a 12-month moratorium to protect their borders. Yet this council is rushing to open the floodgates. You're being asked to vote yes on a framework that completely lacks audited disclosures on net energy draws, binding daily water caps, or guaranteed local employment minimums. In the business world, signing a contract without data verification, it's called gross negligence.
Yes.
Let me be absolutely clear to every member of this dais. Every single one of your terms expires. That means you will stand before the taxpayers of Alliance in the November election. Justify your vote tonight. If you choose to ignore the hard numbers and pass the ordinance, we will treat it as a direct violation of your fiduciary duty. We're watching, we're tracking the data, and we will spend the next 18 months fundraising, organizing, and campaigning to aggressively replace you. Your political jobs depend entirely on how to protect our resources tonight. I urge you to act like responsible fiduciaries, reject the ordinance, protect our water, protect our power grid, and vote no.
There's going to be a lot of information provided, folks, so you want to be more concise and to the point so that the council get that basic information, okay? There's a lot of experiences that all of us have had, but let's keep it focused on what kind of data do they need to make a good decision. So let's go on. Rita Henry. Rita, where are you at? There she is.
Oh, yeah, you definitely went over 3 minutes for sure. I mean, it's on video.
I have questions. What will be the benefit to Alliance? Will the local people be the ones to work on the construction? And after construction, how many jobs will there be? What about tax abatements for these centers? They only are going to pay for so many years, and then the abatements they will not have. Increases temperatures. What about the large amount of water and electricity usage increase in the water? Will there be all our bills? The amount of land used could well be used for growing crops, which is important. Data centers are food. We don't need too many data centers. They've already proved that. How many are owned by out-of-state companies or companies from out of the United States? This should not be allowed. Nobody should own property if they are not citizens of the United States.
Okay, Michael Cambridge. Michael, where's that?
All right, greetings to all citizens of the Carnation City and the City Council and Mr. Mayor. As you yourself, Mr. Mayor, said earlier at the beginning of the meeting, that we have to do what's best for our future prosperity. Are data centers really the future of our prosperity? The city, as you know, it seems like, doesn't have enough money to fund what it needs already, and you guys do the best with what you can get. So, can we really afford the lucrative tax breaks that other cities have given to these data centers? Will our cost of living increase due to these centers that may permanently employ a dozen people or so? Water and electric bills are high already, and there's no way to guarantee this will not harm us by our bills going up even pennies. We should not have to go up and pay for these centers that these companies should be paying for. That is not for the good of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Boyson Brand, Byron. I can't read it. There it is.
Hello, my name is Bryson Bryant, 1307 Parkway Boulevard. If you continue to ignore the outcry of the people of Alliance, this will become the death of a community known for its beautiful castle, historic homes, the Hayne House, but most importantly as the birthplace of the Scarlet Carnation, a symbol of devotion, love, and distinction. We should be more like the Carnation and devoted to our community. Think of the town and places like Raptor Hollow Sanctuary that had just opened up. Their animals will most certainly be affected by this. Think of our local businesses like Doug's Classic 57s, Heggy's, and Burger Hut, who will not be able to serve food or clean their facilities with the water when it turns brown. Do you think the community will still have love for Alliance when its water is polluted and unusable? Will the community still have love for Alliance when we can no longer afford our utilities? Let's be distinct and not doom Alliance to become like every other town that has accepted this devastation, when we already possess such a beautiful and unique heritage worth preserving. If you push this through while ignoring the concerns of the community, then at the very least hold these companies accountable. Do not give them tax breaks. If they want to ruin our town, make them pay for it. Require them to use alternative fuels, limit fossil fuel consumption in daily operations, report their emissions transparently, and use air-cooled fans instead of polluting the water. And most importantly, share an emergency preparedness plan with the community. Make them provide their own power and water. Make them spend trillions of dollars to build their own separate infrastructure that will not affect the people of Alliance. Alliance is home to many people who see their future here. Let the Scarlet Carnation have a future as well. Thank you.
Holly Oyster.
everybody hear me? Try not to be too loud. My name's Holly Oyster, 21370 Harrisburg, Westville Road, Alliance, Ohio, 461. I was going to read a prepared statement, but I've changed my mind. Based on listening to both the other speakers and the council members, council president. I changed my mind on what I'm going to say. Originally, I was going to talk about listening to residents of Ohio over the last few weeks, gathering petition signatures, and what their concerns are, what scares them, what the people who are living with data centers are telling us that they're living with. But our council president said, we need to share data. Why is it the residents' job to tell you what the data center is going to do to us? Shouldn't that be the council's job? To say, okay, we see potential value here. We see potential value in a data center being put into our city. And because of that, we're going to rezone. We're going to change our zoning regulations so that it's possible. So we know where they can go and what they can do there. Great idea. But it's not our job to tell you, hey, it's going to destroy our water table. Hey, the power is already stressed. The grid is already stressed, and now it's going to be stressed as much as it's already being used. How's that going to affect us? Maybe that's not our job. Second question I have is, will the council listen to us?
Right.
How many towns do we hear about that the people came forward and said, we don't want this, and the council did it anyway? So I just want to know, you guys to think about this. Is this city council going to listen to all of these people who took time out of their day to come here and say, we're scared. We're worried what this is going to do for all of us. Maybe Mr. President of Morgan Engineering will get more income. It ain't going to help us. Thank you.
Mic check. Hey everyone, Hey, Jorge Mendoza, 719 Vincent Boulevard, and we have a 250th year anniversary with this country, and nothing makes me prouder to see engaged citizens. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you all so much for coming. All right, now that I got that out of the way. All right. So I didn't really come prepared with a whole written down thing. I just had some points as I've heard some people speaking tonight. This city has dedicated public circuits, from safety to utility, and a lot gets done here. But as we hear it, we're on tight budgets, and capacity is stretched thin at times, and we get some energy outages, here and there, some blackouts. So I'm wondering if we just don't have the infrastructure for a hyperscale data center in this city or around the townships. That's why Washington Township passed a moratorium so that they could try to study the issue. And I just want to emphasize, hyperscale data centers. Yes, we've had data centers for a while now, for the better part of 2 or 3 decades, right? Your Facebook, your email, all that kind of stuff. This is not the same thing. A hyperscale AI data center takes up much more energy, uses up much more water, and has much greater impacts on the communities that they're built in. And so that's just tired of it, I just have to say. In addition to that, I also think that the gentleman earlier from Morgan Engineering was wrong about the property tax revenue. The state of Ohio lost, and I think someone else mentioned it too, I'll just reiterate, lost $1.57 billion of potential revenue from these data centers in 2025 alone. And on top of that, for local governments, that's $166.8 million at the local level that they've lost. So just consider where we are, where things have been, and I don't really have to belabor the point. There's a bunch of other people who are going to be speaking tonight, so I just want to make sure that they have their say as well. God bless. Thank you.
Aaron Baldridge. Yeah, Aaron Baldridge.
Good evening, council, neighbors. My name is Aaron Malterich, 281 West Main Street. First of all, I want to thank you from the start of the meeting for informing us about the new and improved heating and cooling stations for those of us out there. I'm sure Justin Ward would have really appreciated hearing about this. But unfortunately, we chose to act after tragedy. And now today we have all of our neighbors gathered up to tell you the tragedy that is impending around the corner that you're voting on. You are our elected officials to look out for us, to make decisions that will protect us and make our communities thrive and grow and improve and be healthy for every single one of us. And yet when it comes down to when it matters most, you choose not to listen until after tragedy strikes. I want to show you this that I brought. I'm a new citizen to Alliance. I've only been here for a little over a year now. And in December, I received a letter from the Office of the Water Department implying a notification of galvanized requiring replacement service lines. The house that I live in may or may not, based off this letter from your government office, contain lead water. I can tell you this, it does contain lead water. It made my cat sick. It has started to affect my health. I'm spending more money now in an attempt to try to keep toxic lead water out of my system, out of my partner's system, out of my pets. The neighbors that live above me have just had a baby, and they live in a house that contains lead water. And yet nothing will be done until travesty strikes. I beg each and every one of you to hear these people that speak. Weigh the consequences. It's not just going to magically disappear because you voted for it. Your children are at stake. Your families are at stake. Our families are at stake. Act before it's too late. Thank you.
Over here.
Good afternoon. I live on 281 West Main Street, pretty close to an industrial district, actually. I'd like to remind the council that we do not have the privilege of experimenting on how much damage the environment can cause. Our plates are already full enough. Our actions have consequences, and if we look at our history, we can find those lessons that still apply today. Anyone here familiar with the Great Dust Bowl of the 1930s? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It was a decade-long environmental catastrophe caused mainly by our poor agricultural practices in the Great Plains region. Between 1909 and 1929, invading settlers of the United States destroyed native plants when they plowed for their foreign land, not realizing the protection these plants provided from the harsh sun. By 1940, 5 inches of some of North America's richest topsoil was destroyed, rendering the farmland completely useless, and forcing the largest internal migration in United States history, fueling the flames of the Great Depression. 86 years later, and the Great Plains are still trying to heal from the devastation we caused, a lesson in ecosystem fragility and something we sadly still are struggling to learn today. Our poor agricultural practices aren't sustainable, and we still practice them, causing massive soil erosion. You would need to be very ignorant to believe that these AI data centers won't have long-lasting negative impacts. We should be protecting our precious wetlands and waterways, not selling them to the highest bidder. Wetlands are already diminishing rapidly. A report released on March 2024 by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services revealed that wetlands covered less than 6% of the lower 48 states as of 2019, which is half the area they covered since the 1780s. Those loss rates increased by 50% since 2009 and will continue without conservation efforts, affecting not only us as a community, but a wide range of people across the United States. We cannot afford to disrupt our water cycle. I'm part of a small group growing free food in the community with sustainable methods of gardening. Can you promise that these farms in the area won't be affected? Will you start telling us not to waste water in our gardens? I'd rather not risk our source of food and give away our fresh water to something that gives us nothing.
Well, I get our neighbors' concerns about water and electricity consumption. Our infrastructure. Sorry, I have both anxiety. While I answer our neighbors' concerns about water and electricity consumption, our infrastructure not being able to meet those needs, and more concerned about the noise pollution that will be created by these large data centers being put in suggested spots like Alliance Castings, the Main Street extension, and other locations within blocks of residents. The main cause of audible noise and the pollution at a data center is the solution to the grid issue, which is diesel generators. The safe sound is 70 decibels or lower. Generally, a generator can run between 85 to 100 decibels. That's just one generator. Often it makes multiple generators to make these generators, data centers, increasing the decibel level exponentially. This will interrupt and damper the ongoing efforts that we are putting forth as a community to beautify and breathe life into our own downtown area. Not to mention interrupt our daily lives of those residents located within a stone throws of those locations. While that is a major health concern, what is often overlooked is the inaudible sound emitted from these data centers. This type of noise is felt rather than heard. It is linked to dizziness, nausea, hypertension, migraines, fluid from the ears, headaches, stress, and sleep disturbances, such as insomnia. Lack of sleep directly correlates with anxiety, cognitive impairments, and cardiovascular risks. Unlike our trades and other industrials, this noise is constant, 24/7, 365. There's no escaping it. It will lower our property values through the entire city, and no one wants to live near a data center, making it a catch-22 for those of us who are more susceptible to the negative.
Summarize, please.
Sorry. I got two sentences. The negative effects of this infrasonic noise created by the data centers. No amount of money or internet can replace our sanity, safety, or community.
Marion Grimes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Joshua Kirschner.
Hello, everybody, can you hear me well? Okay, just want to make sure, is that good? Is that good?
Okay, thank you. My name is Josh Kirschner. I live at 12120 Rock Hill North. Thank you, Council President, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you guys for all the work you're doing. Those of you that are listening to the community, thank you, everybody that has come out here to make it known that data centers, in a lot of folks' opinion, are not going to go over well. Obviously, a lot of people have talked about the grid and the water supply, which we already have trouble with. The last speaker, I don't know if he was able to hear, but one of the main concerns is the inaudible hum that comes from a data center that is, like she said, is cause of migraines, fatigue, other types of conditions that we don't really need in a university town. It would be kind of silly to put a data center right in the middle of town where those low decibel noises are going to affect a lot of us. I do want to say that I am an avid cell phone user of the internet. It works great for me now. I don't really see any way to upgrade it. I get exactly what I need out of it already. And listen, I'm not an economist by no means, but it seems like this is prime market saturation. Like, what are we buying into? A couple people get a big paycheck. A lot of the rest of us, we get higher electricity bills. Water, that's not going to go over well. The list of problems that everybody else has already said, I don't want to echo that, but it's to the point, I might have to move out of this town that I love. I was born in Alliance Community Hospital in '85. I bought a house, I've almost got it paid off. I don't want to uproot. I've been a functioning member of society in this community for 41 years, and I'd like to continue that. Please listen to us. Look at everybody that come out. And it's only got this far. Save the few petitions we've seen run around, people around the communities. We don't want data centers. We don't need it. What's it going to do for us? A couple years. Alliance has had a few projects already that we put a couple years into and we forget about. But this, the market's going to get saturated. We're going to be in a bad spot if we go with this. Please don't let it happen. Please, for the sake of the community. Thank you, everybody, for hearing me. Have a great time.
Marion Grimes.
Good evening. Marion Grimes, 1613 South Freedom Avenue, Alliance, Ohio. Data center construction has become a major political issue, with groups of residents opposed to the effects of large developments have on energy consumption and the environment, among other concerns. Leaders in both parties who largely welcome the investments in their states are recalibrating their approaches. The number of grassroots opposition groups across the country more than doubled from 396 at the end of 2025 to 833 by March of 2026. The states with the most opposition groups are Maryland, Ohio, and Texas. Monitoring Analytics, the federally mandated watchdog that keeps an eye on the interconnection that distributes power across the U.S., said in a new report that a massive 75.5% increase in power costs in the largest regions in the U.S. have been directly caused by data centers. Wholesale electric prices went up from $77.78 per megawatt hour in the first quarter of 2025 to $136.53 per megawatt hour in the same period this year. Data centers can use millions of gallons of water annually. Large data centers can use up to 5 million gallons of water per day, which is equivalent to the water usage of a town populated by 10 to 50,000 people. A recent Gallup survey showed that 71% of Americans don't want a data center where they live. In an Ohio survey, close to 70% of Ohio politicians, Democrats, Republicans, and independents believe there should be a moratorium on any new data center in Ohio until more information is known about their effects on communities. Approximately 15 to 18 Ohio municipalities, places like Lordstown and Grafton, have issued a temporary moratorium or halt to pause facility approvals while they evaluate the impact on resources. Even our Stark County neighbor, the city of Massillon, implemented a temporary building suspension. With the current frailty of the power grid in parts of wards 1, 2, and 3, where there is a loss of power on a regular basis, even if the wind changes direction too quickly. Any thoughts of placing an additional drain on an already weakened power grid would be considered criminal in a sane democracy. However, in the times we are currently living in, common sense and listening to the will of the people have been thrown out the window in pursuit of gorging and groveling at the trough of big money investment and interest groups in pursuit of the almighty dollar.
Nick Myers Jr.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bishop Nick H. Myers Jr. I live at 11417 Holly Avenue in Lexington Township. I have a question to ask. How many senior citizens do we have in here? Could you please stand up? Could you please stand up, everybody that's a senior citizen? All right. Now you may be seated. We're gonna play Jack in the Box. You're getting ready to get up again. How many voters do we have? Stand up, please. All voters stand up. Now point to the councils and say, we vote. We vote. And our vote counts. Like the vote. Our vote counts. This is a terrible thing that's trying to be done in this city. We all have fixed incomes, all of us as senior citizens. Especially down on the northeast end of town, we cannot stand a high electric bill or a water bill. We cannot stand that. So we're asking you to do the right thing. And this is serious, because we're going to vote. Tell them we're going to vote. Come on, y'all. Say we're going to vote. Let them know we're going to vote. Those seats are not permanent. Tell them, say the seats are not permanent. God bless you. I'm done.
Okay. John Rethel Jr.
Two mics up here. Hi, I'm John Russell. Hello, Council, President, Mr. Mayor. Y'all know me. I've been coming to these meetings. I'm at 16191 River Street, by the way. I've been coming to these meetings now for, this is probably what, my fifth, sixth one, and gotten to know some of the council members, and I really feel that they're on our side, and I really hope that I'm right. But anyway, I just wanted to mention one thing. I am not affiliated with any party, but I'm a big fan of what Mr. Bernie Sanders said. There should not be any such thing as a billionaire. And now we got multi-billionaires, and Elon Musk is now a trillionaire. If that guy didn't have any money, you think he could get a date? Really? He's so socially awkward. But I will also mention that a rich man has about, how's that go? It's a Bible quote. the eye of a needle. A camel can get through the eye of a needle before a rich man will get to heaven. And also, we are not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the dark forces of this world. We're wrestling with spiritual wickedness in highest of places. Billionaires, why should we trust them? And they want to tax evade us. Some of these people are getting a 30-year tax abatement. I'm a billionaire, give me a tax abatement. I'm going to raise your electric. I'm going to raise your bills. Jeez, give me a break. So I got a few things I'd like to say, a couple of slogans. Let me just say that Elon has been caught in a lie. On-site gray water was going to be treated at a facility on his mega structure. $78 million that facility was going to cost. It never got built. So now what's he doing? He's taking the water out of the Memphis sand aquifer. That's the people's drinking water, which he said he was not going to do. He's pumping 1 to 5 million gallons of water per day. And also recently, news alert, breaking news, unpermitted turbines, dozens of them, running natural gas, unpermitted. These people cannot be trusted. Don't be a peon for Elon. Don't be a tool for Peter Thiel. Well, I got some more. Don't be a show for Bill. Don't be a lark for Carp. And don't be a bozo for Bezos, who just blew up his launch facility. Brilliant man. Bookseller. Bookseller with a degree, an advanced degree in electrical engineering. This bubble is going to burst. All you got to do is look back to the early 2000s, the dot-com bubble. It blew up in everyone's faces. And who lost money? The people that taught? Well, no. The people that invested in them are the ones that lose the money. And really, I'm a fisherman. I love to get out and fish. I love to be on a boat. Some people like to water ski out there. We need our water. And the Great Lakes are not replaceable. They are glacial lakes. Once that water's gone, it ain't coming back. And once they start sucking it out of the aquifers, people in my area in Lexington Township, we all own guns, let me tell you. This Lexington Township is a crazy place. You're allowed to shoot guns, you're allowed to start fires. It's not like Libyan Alliance. When you drain our water and we gotta pay $12,000 to $30,000 to get a new well, hell, they'll be held to pay. Thank you, Council. Thank you.
Sonia Kennedy Freeman.
Hi, my name is Sonia Kennedy Freeman, and I live at 1121 Avalon Avenue, Alliance, Ohio. My house is about a 3-minute walk from Alliance Casket. And I'm 67 years old, and I'm a war vet. I don't need a humming in my ears. I already can't go to sleep from being in the war. So if we have to leave it up to the council or leave it up to our people, y'all make the right decision. As long as we can put it on the ballot, and I'm saying I'm gonna vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl Preston. Cheryl Preston.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl Parson. I live at 54 North Jackson Avenue in Alliance. I'm in the industrial complex area where one might be put in. I enjoy my garden. I enjoy my kids, grandkids, swimming in their pool. What's going to happen when that area comes in there? Then you're going to have peace and quiet. They're not going to be able to do their garden. They're not going to be able to hear each other think. We don't want this in our town. We want to be free. And we are tired of people coming in here and telling us what they're going to do to us. We, the people, are in charge. You guys are supposed to listen to us. And look at how many people is here. And if everybody in this town knew this meeting was happening tonight, it would be full. So if you want to hear from people, how about getting on your computer and sending out letters in the mail? Put it on the ballot, because I don't want it. And the things that we want in town is our drinking water. How about, how many times I have to go a week to fill up bottled water because my water is unsafe to drink. It tastes nasty. One day you take a shower, you come out smelling worse than when you went in. I'm only supposed to clean once a week my whole house. I have to scrub my toilet every 3 days because of the brown crap in my water. So why don't you guys fix our water and leave our city alone? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's all who have signed up. And again, I want to compliment you. You make a statement when you show up, even if you didn't talk today, okay? And we appreciate that. Now, with this, I'm going to call us back into City Council, and we're ready to go on with the Safety Service Director, Mr. Lewis.
Let me go get the other ones. Do you have that one?
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Safety Services Department, I wanted to recognize our team leaders that some of you may know, some of you may not. They normally attend all of our city council sessions, and they usually sit in the back. So if I could, I'm not trying to embarrass you, I'm trying to thank you. If I call your name, could you please stand? Kim Cox is part of the Park Department, team leader. Amy Elliott is our Water Department team leader. Vince Musser is our Engineering Department team leader. The Police Department, Chief X, he's waving in back. Our Fire Department, Chief Hunt, is not here tonight. He is not feeling well. Our Water and Wastewater Distribution Department, Mike Dreger. Our Health Department, Randy Ruskowski. Our Planning and Development Department, Pete Worsler. Our Wastewater Treatment Department, Josh Zwick. And last but not least, our Street Department Team Leader, John Bertolini. Thank you all for the hard work that you do every day. That's all I have for my report. Thank you.
All right, moving right along, we're into our attorney, Law Director Smolak.
Thank you, President. At the last council meeting, I indicated that I would do a litigation report. Unfortunately, that wasn't prepared for today's council meeting. However, it will be prepared for the next council meeting, and it's because we were in Columbus. Myself, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Drager, and Mr. Zwick were all in Columbus today regarding the Ohio EPA notice of violations that I referenced in my February letter. We had a very productive meeting. Things are coming slowly. We have to do a plan of action, and more will be coming out regarding that and the Ohio EPA violations. I wanted to talk briefly about the mausoleum. I believe at the next council meeting there may be an ordinance that comes out. I just want to touch on it briefly to cover the costs of the mausoleum repairs while we're in active litigation with our insurance company to cover those costs. So that will be coming out in our next meeting. I wanted to let you know that there is an issue with our CJIS program. The county commissioners have filed suit against all of the municipal court judges as well as 2 common pleas court judges. I'm just giving you a brief moment on this. The moral of the story is that, if I understand it correctly, it's going up to the Ohio Supreme Court. The judges made orders. We're not entirely sure if the judges can make those orders, but I wanted to be on your radar because it does affect all of our courts, all of the municipal courts talking to one another. That's how we manage our court system, is through our CJIS system. More to come in the litigation report next council meeting. Very briefly, I want to discuss, we had an Alliance police officer that was arrested while off duty last weekend. That officer was off duty. He did take vacation. He will be on administrative leave pending any further analysis from the city as well as the law department. And then finally, I just want to discuss with council very briefly, there's an ordinance and a resolution regarding the AT&T situation. AT&T right now is attempting to do a fiber optic upgrade to part of Alliance. There's an issue between AT&T and the city of Alliance regarding the fees for engineering and planning. In order to make headway on that, AT&T proposed that we do a memorandum of understanding. I understand that there was a committee meeting regarding that. We also did an ordinance to clarify our fee structure in order to maybe assuage AT&T a little bit on that. I'll just put it this way. As the city's attorney, I wouldn't grant the variance and I wouldn't do a memorandum of understanding for one company over any other companies. East Ohio Gas, Spectrum, First Energy, they're all going to be looking for the same memorandums of understanding. They're all going to look to waive their fees. I think, I'm not going to put Mr. Knowles on the spot here, but we've had multiple meetings regarding this, and it's just a bad idea for us to do any type of understanding with one company. Just expect you're going to have to do it with every company that we deal with. And I don't think it's right. Our fee structures are constitutional, they're statutorily okay. We should stick to our guns regarding our fee structure. If they want clarification, that's the ordinance that we prepared for you. That takes away, it only deals with all the underground wiring instead of any aerial wiring. So I would encourage you all to take a look at that and not pass the resolution regarding the memorandum of understanding and pass the ordinance clarifying our fees. Thank you, that's all my report.
Is the officer being paid on administrative leave?
He is on paid administrative leave at this time. The reason that we have to do it that way is that there's two reasons. Number one, he's technically constitutionally innocent of any and all charges until he's found guilty or pleads guilty. The other part of it is that he's also part of a union, and that has to go through all of it. He has rights under his union contract before we do anything as a city. So to protect ourselves, we have to put him on administrative leave and pay him.
Other questions? Dr. Logan?
Follow up on the AT&T situation. In our committee meeting, it was, a motion was passed because of a question about whether the fees were approved by PUCO. Has that been, because you mentioned that these are just tonight, has that been answered?
So I was not the law director at that particular juncture. But that being said, I honestly don't know if they've been passed. But what I can tell you is that, let me rephrase that. I know they've been passed because there's an ordinance saying that there are fees. Whether or not they were notified by PUCO, I think the legal ramification from that is if they want to raise the issue regarding notice from PUCO, you would go back to our previous fees, which actually hurt AT&T more than our current fee structure. Back when we passed the original, it's like $200,000, 2%, when we did the grading of that, it actually was a flat 2% for all construction. I have a feeling that if we did the math on that, the job that's currently pending would be more expensive for AT&T than our current structure. Even if we went back to a per hole situation, like you could do a permit per hole that AT&T was to do, our engineering department calculated out that per hole would be $7,000. So we're talking about 2 passages ago, it's $7,000. Here we're at $4,500. I believe a flat 2% on the $212,000 that they quoted would be probably more than that $4,500. So that's where we're at this point. And I think granting them a memorandum of understanding, I'll be honest, it's the first paragraph that bothers me the most. They say that they want to come to a collaborative agreement regarding our fee structure. From a legal standpoint, that's admitting that it's not already legal, and I believe it is.
Yes, Mr. Edwards?
I didn't mean to have to do that. Sorry. Just to take, we had a lot of people here tonight, and just hypothetically, okay, say a data center wanted to come into town, okay? We don't have it in our zoning where it could go. What would would you be able to turn that down because it isn't there, or would they be able to go somewhere else?
That's a little bit of a touchy question, obviously. There's nothing in our code prohibiting, so that means that they could go on State Street in the empty alley between Meyer and Dunham's. I mean, they could go to those places because there's nothing in our code precluding them from going there. By amending the city code to reflect an I-2 area, you're limiting where they could go if they were to go. We're not saying there's no deal on the table or anything like that at this point. We have to be very cautious that right now, our entire city is open game.
No, you need to have a
You could say that it's open game right now. But what if we say we don't want anything to amend the amendment to say, don't even come into our town?
Unfortunately, that's not on the table yet. And I'll prepare whatever ordinance council wants. That hasn't been something that council's asked me for. So when council asks for that, that's what we'll do. Right now. Right now. So in order to get to that point, council has to ask for that ordinance, and I'll be happy to draft that at some point. But we're not there as of right now.
I just one other question to follow up on that, Andrew, is I think everybody can hear me, but would that ordinance even be legal?
There's been a lot of moratoriums around Ohio. I don't believe that it has gone through the courts yet. To be frank, there's no harm in trying and then seeing what happens with that. And I only say that because at the end of the day, if the Supreme Court says, hey, Ohio Supreme Court, not the United States Supreme Court, if the Ohio Supreme Court says, no, that's not okay, then the data centers are right back where they were before. And you're right back here trying to figure out what zoning. You could do it either way. You could write your ordinance right now that they're only allowed to be in an I-2 area and then place a moratorium on them and then revisit it down the road. What I wouldn't do is leave the entire city open.
Other questions? Kiko?
Okay, so with what you just said, the I-2 zoning change, this would be the time to put a moratorium on that?
No, you have to have that as, it has to be before council, it has to be an ordinance ready to go. Right now, it's not. The only thing that's before council right now is, are we going to reclassify the area? So it has to be on the agenda, it has to be public noticed, all of those requirements will have sunshine laws.
Other questions? Speak up, Ms. King.
So they want to change the zoning so that it will go into American Steel, Alliance Castings, 1001 East Broadway.
No.
Okay, that area is contaminated. And yes, they're going to clean it up. They're going to stir it up. And all that contamination will be floating all over this city. And I gotta speak for me. I spent 40 years at 1001 East Broadway, and I have some serious ailments in my body. That land is contaminated. It does not need to be stirred up. I don't care what they do with it, but just leave it. Leave it lie. Take it out on West Main. Take it out on Freshly. There's no houses out there. This is a community. This is residential. We don't want it.
Are there questions for the law director? Law director?
I'm good.
Okay, then we're gonna move on. Auditor, Noel.
Okay, I have a few things tonight. One of the first ones is, there's been a ballot initiative by the public to abolish property taxes. It's been in the news quite a bit. We've talked about it here a few times, the effect it would have on the city. We just learned recently that that initiative will not go on the ballot in the fall of this year, that the organizers of that are gonna try for 2027. So that at least gives us, more reprieve on that. Under ordinances tonight, 38, 26, 39, 26, these are third readings, but they do have appropriations in them. And I believe they still would need to have the rules suspended to send them to finance. Same thing with 44, 26, the police cruiser ordinance. That one would need to have the rules suspended also. Normally you guys get your May reports at this council meeting, but they're not ready yet, so they're a little bit delayed. I'll have those out to you guys later this week. And then back to the beginning, I believe the mayor said I was involved in the negotiations for the supervisors. I was not. I think he just misspoke. But anyways, I was asked at a finance committee meeting to put out some numbers for that. So I prepared this costing for the police supervisor's contract, which was brought up at the very beginning of the meeting. And what it shows you is the effect of what this raise is for the period of this contract. There was a wage table inserted in the contract that was effectively an 833 for the 3-year period. There's also language there that ties it to the patrolman's contract, which is a little unusual. So pending the outcome of their conciliation, if they go there, the actual increase of this could be more. It's a bit unknown. If they're able to have a higher wage determined at conciliation, then the cost of this contract would go up also because it's tied to that. So the way this was calculated is the table's on the left. On top, I have a 3-year period of what the base wage increases are, plus what overtime could be for the period of 3 years. And for overtime, I used the number for 2025 for just that bargaining unit. So the police department, this supervisory union has 10 employees in it. There are about 29 patrolmen, depending on when. So this is actually a smaller segment of the police department, but they're obviously paid at the higher rates than the patrolmen are. So if you look at those numbers, it shows you what the annual increase is and then what the total is for the life of the 3-year agreement. And then I also put below there, if the patrolmen are awarded 6%, which this is what it assumes, what the cost would be. Then if somehow they're giving a bigger raise, 7% or 8%, for example, what the cost would be for the life of the contract. So that's all over on the far right, hopefully you guys can see that. And then for the purposes of the costing, I didn't do a full-blown one, I did base wages and overtime only. It's kind of a low-ball one in a way because they can sell vacation time, comp time, sick time, or retirement. Those costs are not factored in here, but those would be affected by the factor of the percentage of the wage increase. Also, in the contract, there's a proposal to raise the uniform by $100 a year per person, which would be $3,000 for the life of the contract. Then I'm explaining in the other bullet points how I got to those numbers. 3472 is 12% higher than the $31 that was awarded to the patrolman during the fact-finding hearing. The wage table expresses an 8% increase in 2026, but also effective January 1st, 26. The base hourly rate for sergeants shall be determined by a rank differential that is 12% above the highest existing patrol officer hourly base rate. Rates on the table were based on patrolmen's determined if fact-finding conciliation has not happened. It's not even scheduled yet, to my knowledge. So hopefully, does that make sense to everybody, or do you have any questions?
I guess my only question would be, wouldn't it have been better to wait on this contract till the other one was settled? I mean, it's retroactive, right? It goes back regardless. So wouldn't it make more sense to wait so we would know exactly what the cost of this contract would be? Or is this typical? I don't know.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay. This is going to be a question for you guys, but you guys get to vote on it. I will tell you that it's never been done this way. We've never really, I don't think councils have been asked to approve a contract without knowing the outcome of another one when they're tied together. I don't think they've ever been tied together before. So it's a little unique what you're being asked to do, and theoretically the numbers could change, but that's something the council will have to decide. We've never really been, I don't think you guys have ever been put in that position before.
Kevin, on this sheet then, it's probably, it shows the total cost over the 3-year contract. So the total increase then would be $183,000 over the 3-year contract.
Okay, that's showing the increase per year, and if you go below that, that is actually the cost of the contract for the 3-year period, because it's $100,000 more than this year. The next year it'll be 141 more than this year, and then third year 183 more than this year. So the total for the entire contract would be $425,000 just for wages, base wages and overtime.
And that does not include the patrolman's contract, correct?
Would you say it would be wise for us to have waited to finish one contract before the other so you can get a true picture on paper, dollars and cents?
This issue is being brought up.
With my fellow councilman bringing up this issue, I want to let them know that I did send an email to the law director asking him his opinion on, I use the word legality of having ordinance 4026 presented without knowing its true final cost. And I didn't have a chance to ask him, or I had forgotten to ask him during his time to speak. So I don't mean to be out of line. If I have permission, I'd like to ask the law director this finding, if he was able to come to light, because I got to it late.
I was not able to come to that conclusion. I received that email, I think at 11:39 this morning while I was knee-deep in the wastewater treatment, Ohio EPA violations. So I did not have an opportunity. I didn't get back until 5:30.
I did bring it up at last council meeting, and you did request that I send you an email, and I apologize for being late, but it was brought up 2 weeks ago. You didn't have any opportunity to. Okay. Thank you.
I got one other question. We're checking on wages, we're checking on EPA, we're checking on amendment to the data center ordinance. What we as a council need to do right now is, I feel so, we need a workshop to check on each entity before we come back in here to council to make conscious decisions on any of these ordinances that hit the table. Because right now, everything flippy is coming late. We don't have all the information. And even with the wages, 223, then they change 66, and one is right across the board 8. Everything is looking at us. We need to sit down and make a concrete decision on everything that's getting ready to take place. whether it be our property, whether it be policies for fines, the fees that need to be addressed. It needs to be addressed on each entity, because right now, everything's up in the air, it's coming late, and you just pass it through. We gotta quit passing it through and actually do the work and find out what's going on with each and every one of them, because right now, it all goes back in our faces like we're not doing a great job. And I didn't sit here for 15 years for nothing. So we need a workshop, and we need it quick, fast, to make sure that the administration and all of us is on the same page, because right now, we're not. And we gotta work at it.
I do have one question. The contract that we're waiting on, will that be finalized within the time frame that the other one needs to be met? Like, I guess the question is if we had a special council session within the next week or whatever, would that one be finalized?
I wouldn't expect so. I don't think that is even scheduled yet, and Mike might know otherwise, but I don't believe it is. This contract, we learned from the last set, is that you guys are on a 30-day meter, which is tonight because it was introduced 30 days ago. So somebody has to take action or no action. No action would be effectively adopting it. So you either have to approve it or reject it. But we won't know about the patrolman. I believe our labor council estimated sometime in August, but it hasn't been scheduled, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Any other questions? All right, then, let's move on to standing committee reports. Here it comes. Streets and alleys.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no formal report, but I do want to send a shout out to our street department. They did a wonderful job getting the streets ready for all the paving that was done this year. There's still a little bit to do, but they did a wonderful job. John Bertolini and his department. Thank you for all you do.
Moving on. Property and land, Ms. Cherry.
Yes, as I stated before, we're at a crossroads right now, and we really need to get all back on the same page. Administration, because nobody knows what the other person is doing. Even with the ordinances, we don't know who negotiated what contract. Those things have to be decided and known before we pass any ordinance. We are here to actually read and make conscious decisions on what's going to affect our city. And right now, things are moving too fast and we're not getting the full picture. So I propose, as soon as possible, we as the council and the administration have to get on the same page, and we need a workshop as soon as possible. Because it's not just the EPA, it could be properties and the lands, we got brand new houses coming in. There's a multitude of issues that need to be addressed that we're just pushing through. And we can't just push things through. We got to make concrete, conscious decisions on everything for the city of Alliance, for the people.
Okay, moving on. Utility, Mr. Edwards.
This might be the best thing everybody hears. No report tonight.
Okay. Safety and judiciary, Ms. Kiko.
Just a couple of items. We did have a safety and judiciary meeting last week to go over the results of the feasibility study for the EMT contract, and even though we spent a little bit of time with the folks that generated that study, we need more to go absolutely through that so that we can make a conscious decision. So there will be future meetings about that feasibility study. And then tonight, ordinance 4426, I just want to remind council that we had voted to pay for 2 cruisers for the police department last year, but for whatever reason, those were not purchased. And so I'm asking for support tonight. Due to the law, we have to bring that back up a new ordinance. The money is already in the budget. And so I would just ask for support so that we can get our police departments some new cruisers.
Community development, Ms. King.
Yes, we met last Thursday and finalized all the funding for 2025. Everything has been depleted. I just want to say that I am really, really proud for the building at Maple Beach. It is up, and they're going to start working on the inside. And Ohio Fields, if you've been down on Seneca or Liberty or Milner, there are 4 houses up. They are totally up, and they are moving right along with the Ohio Fields. So once again, you know, you can look at the houses right through the neighborhoods and everything. And if you want to buy, get yourself together, get your credit together. And tonight was the meeting for, tomorrow night is the meeting for financial, that they're meeting at the Commons at 6 o'clock, I believe. If you need help with your credit, or if first-time home buyers, there is a seminar tomorrow that you need to be at in order to buy one of these homes. And there are all kinds of grants for down payments and other things for these Ohio Fields. Ride through the neighborhood and look at the homes.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did have a finance meeting after the Safety and Judiciary was heard on June 3rd. We had the initial discussion about the AT&T situation that was addressed by the law director. His recommendation, if I heard him correctly, was to vote no on resolution 45-26 and to approve ordinance 4626. Just wanted to repeat that information. Also at finance, we did have a little discussion on the police supervisor's contract in regards of the no cost and no discussion, with it being just put on to council with no information. At that time, I had announced to the president that it was an 8%, 3%, 3%. This puts us in a pickle in regards to the pattern that was told to us that was going to be the guiding pattern for employee contracts, which was 233, with the removal of one tier and the creation of a higher one, it results in a 633. The previous 4 contracts ranged from 6%. I saw one that went to 15%, but that had to do with licensure increase along with 2-tier increase. But the precedent set for a 633 puts us in a precarious situation with an 833 offering. Maybe I'll wait until it's read, but have a recommendation on what we do tonight with the supervisor's contract. Also did bring up a topic of maybe having conditional use for a data center instead of permitted. That would give more control to us in regards of addressing the situations as stated tonight. Obviously, water, energy cost, noise, inaudible noise, increase in heat, and tax abatements. But that is not up for our vote tonight. Vote is 1926, in which we are asked to vote yes or no on whether we will designate I2 zones only for data centers. That's what we're being asked tonight. I think if I heard what the law director was saying, that is the recommendation to pass that, to protect the majority of residential area from being impacted by the possible negative effects of the data center. That would be the action taken tonight. Immediately, we could have a work session. We could talk about the moratorium. We could talk about disallowing it, whatever the council wants to do in response. But I know tonight in 1926, that's what we're being asked.
1926.
1926, I believe.
You're saying 1926, what is that?
Oh, that's the ordinance number.
The what?
The ordinance number. The number of the ordinance that deals with the data center being designated to I2 zones. I'm sorry. Yeah, I should. Okay.
Industrial Ward 2.
And then also I brought up reading section 3 of the FUE contract, just to let members know that that is an option that we could use to resolve the FUE impasse. The council voted down the FUE contract on May 4th. It's been now a month and we had 11 days.
Without our consent. Yes, you ask those questions afterwards.
So anyways, we haven't heard anything in regards to solution to that contract. There was 15 members. Council had issues with 4 of the 15, so the other 11 are kind of just left out right now, waiting for the pay raise. So I'm going to be introducing an ordinance tonight. I'm going to ask the clerk to put on the agenda for the next council meeting that will address this. I'm going to pass it out tonight. It won't be a reading because we're not going to drop a resolution or ordinance on council. I did want to pass it out and once again ask that it be put on the agenda and which we will have readings and we can have discussions. It's a resolution to finalize the pay raise for the members of the FED contract. Okay, that concludes my report.
Any questions for Councilman Flynn? All right, Mr. Mastriani, planning, zoning.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm asking for council support in ordinance 1926 this evening. Essentially, it establishes a baseline within our city. We're going to continue to have these conversations. This is going to be a very fluid conversation that we have in our community. Obviously, by the show tonight, this is not an end all by passing this. But what it does is establish a baseline. And I think what Mr. Selva said earlier, if we don't pass this, it leaves the city exposed to one possibly coming anywhere in the city, anywhere from a B1 zone to which is the downtown business district, is a B1 to a I2, which is a heavy industrial zone. Anywhere in between. Hypothetically, one could go right now. So I think this at least starts, the rules that we're placing in our city that if a company is coming to town, they realize, what it is and where it is that they could go. So I think it is important that we do address this within our zoning code. So that's it. Questions?
How hard would it be to get that changed to conditional before we vote?
Well, it would have to, the whole process would have to start over because it's not what planning commission voted on. So basically we're resetting the clock and it's going to be another 4 or 5 months of this. In the meantime, we could have that conversation and in 4 months, if that's what council, if that's the flavor of council, we would vote on it then. But this, again, right now, puts in some kind of baseline.
What about, have you guys talked about a moratorium at all?
No, there's been no talk about a moratorium. No. Personally, I think a moratorium it shows that we're not open for business. And if there is a business opportunity, I think it is in our best interest to entertain all options that may be presented within the city. And Councilwoman King, I know you said that the castings site is very dirty and you wouldn't even want to see it. You want to see it remain just as is. But if we as a city could get a company in to clean up that site, which I guarantee you is a big environmental issue, I think it's something we should consider and look at. I don't think we should close the door on it. So.
Wait, ma'am, you're not on council.
I have a question.
Yes.
You just mentioned something. You said he just came out of a meeting for HCA. And you're saying that it's a possibility we can save where we get this money from. You see the wages sitting up here. You know where we're at financially. So where is all this money coming from for consideration, as you say, a baseline for the
data center? Why
Well,
can't we put,
The city wouldn't be conducting the cleanup or remediation.
I understand, but at the end of the day, there's gonna be a cost to the city. My question would be, the law director, I'm gonna address this with you, 1926. You said it'd be safe for this resolution to go ahead and accept the ordinance that's coming through right now on 1926. But he just asked, was there a moratorium? Could we make another ordinance or amendment to 1926 to make another ordinance for a moratorium? Pardon me? No. You said 1926, you said let it go through today just for consideration. To limit where they are. But in the meantime, we can come to your office, create an ordinance to do a moratorium so that it doesn't come into the city. If that's what the majority wants, yes.
I don't think 1926 is saying you can't ever do a moratorium.
All it's doing is limiting where this place could be if it came. If, we don't even have, there's no deal on the table or anything like that. And then to address your other question, the castings area, we would have to draft a contract with that company in order to make a complete and total cleanup of that area. Right now, that might, I mean, frankly, it might be a Superfund site. I don't know what's in there. I don't know what type of metals are in the earth there. It would take it would take cooperation from probably the United States EPA as well as Ohio EPA, and then contractors to take all of that dirt out and dispose of it properly. So, but that would be a cost, and I'm not saying that I would construct that contract to make that company pay for that. If they want that area, then they have to make it right.
Well, you see, that's the problem, even with the EPA, when Ohio Edison, the MPG plant, they came in here and took the pumps out down in the first floor, but yet still, there was a cost there, as well as it affected all the people in that area, and nobody was addressed. Now, one council member here.
Well, the only thing you can do though is negotiate that. And I'm not advocating one way or the other, that's not my
It
job.
should have been negotiated, but the administration at the time did nothing.
And I'm just saying that you've learned from that mistake, so if this were to happen, right now, that's a totally unusable piece of land.
Just like down in the first floor.
So, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not advocating one way or the other, I just want you to know that it's totally unusable.
Yeah, question.
Okay, Philip, you had just stated that if we were to do an amendment tonight on 1926 for conditional use, then does that nullify us from doing that ever again? If we vote to limit where or if anything comes in, can you clarify?
So if we were to add a conditional use to the ordinance that is presented, it's not what planning commission considered, it's not what their public hearing was about, it's not what they voted to recommend to council. So it would nullify this contract. So essentially, we'd be in the same boat that we are in, we're just fast forward another 4 or 5 months.
So then can we do an ordinance for conditional use of any prospective data center that is coming in? In the future, not tonight, I mean in the future. Okay.
Ordinance to clarify that, to change the language from conditional to permitted. I think all of that is okay. When I did some research, I did know that you probably have to have a super majority. When that is presented, you have to have all council here.
Okay.
So, like I said, this conversation is going to continue. It's going to be fluid. Just because we set a baseline tonight doesn't mean that's a baseline going forward indefinitely. We can continue to have these conversations, and I think they're important to have, for the citizens and for council, that we all get the right and accurate information about this. So I think if we vote for this tonight, it's not an end all, the conversation is not dead after that. We will continue to fine tune this. It just, like I said, it's a start.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted that clarity. I appreciate it.
We're now part of the public speech. This requires anyone who wishes to speak.
Why does anyone who wishes to speak during this public comments portion of our meeting must sign up before the starting time? Whoever signs up will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. There will be no debate between speakers and members of council. No profane language, no disrespectful or disruptive speech shall be permitted. And first is Brandy Dublin. Brandy, where are you at? There she is.
Sorry, I'm a little stiff. I don't think we've had this many people. I've never had to sit this long. Brandy Dothett, 2115 South Seneca. I did have a lot of things to say about data centers, but in the end, I knew all these guys were going to take care of it, so I wasn't too worried about it. I do say that you should pass the zoning tonight to at least start the protection process, but I also think you need a moratorium right away. Yes, it's going to be a fluid discussion, but I don't think this community is going to change their minds. So, listening. But also, you know, there were a lot of assumptions made tonight. This is just zoning. We're not naive to think that a conversation hasn't been happening, but there is no deal on the table. So we do have time to figure out how to do this and to figure out if there is a way to protect our city and still make some money. If we can do both, great, but let's take the time to figure it out. So we may be at a crossroads. There's a lot of things going on, but there are a number of reasons why. These meetings, I mean, it's every 2 weeks. There are issues you guys could resolve, but it's just endless conversations and endless political posturing and fighting. I hope that we've learned a lesson and that the contract negotiations that are going to start again in 2 years are handled differently, because this is a mess. You have alienated a lot of city employees, and I don't know how you get that back. And finally, the AT&T issue. I'm not going to get into all the technical details, but I will tell you, if we don't pass it, AT&T is very likely to walk away, and copper goes away. Copper goes away. That means half the city or more won't have internet available through AT&T. We cannot afford to try to suck money into the city through fees and keep our citizens in the technical dark ages. That's all I have to say. Have a good night.
Thank you. All right. John Brazil. John, just a quick note here. You've already spoken about the data center. If you're going to talk about that, I'll put you out of order. This is for other topics. Other topics? Okay. All right. Let's go on to Charles. Can you read that? Charles, L-I-K-E-R-E. How many Charles are there? Okay, one more time. All right, come on. We can read it. Okay, let's move on. Third readings. At this point in time, I am going to move ordinance 3726 to the end of the agenda, because that's the one that we need to have an executive session about. I don't want everybody to have to leave, come back and we can have an executive session. So at this point in time, with your consent, I will do that. So let's move on to the next one.
Ordinance 3826, introduced by Edwards, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety and Service to obtain quotes or to advertise for bids as required and to award contracts for the replacement of the power factor connection equipment at the water treatment plant at a total not to exceed $85,000 in any case, appropriating an additional sum of $10,000 and declaring an emergency.
Mike, this is already in the budget, right? Yes. Thank you.
All right. Motion?
But the 10,000 is not additional. The 10,000 additional, is that in the budget?
It's not the line item they added, there is.
I can't hear you.
How much were you mean by the 10,000?
That 10,000 add, but that's in the budget though, still within the budget?
Does it need to go to finance?
That's all I'm asking. Does it need to go to finance? Does it need to be waived to go to finance?
Yes, it would if you were going to act on it tonight. And the additional 10,000 is being appropriated. I believe there's enough budget, Kevin and I talked about that.
Yeah.
But it was a line item in the permanent appropriation, and it was 10,000 less than that, and so to be safe, that's why there's a $10,000 appropriation.
Okay. I move to, not go, waive the requirement to go to the Finance Committee for ordinance 38-26.
Moved, is there a second? Further discussion? Call the roll.
Bagara.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Lomas.
Yes.
Mastroni.
Yes.
I move for the, we're gonna go to emergency? This is third, I'm sorry. It's so long, okay, move for the adoption of ordinance 38-26.
Second by Mr. Mastriani. Further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Bagara.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Lomas.
Yes.
Mastroni.
Yes. And it is passed. Go ahead. Next.
Ordinance 3826, introduced by Edwards. An ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety and Service to obtain quotes or to advertise for bids.
We just did that.
I'm sorry. 3926. Introduced by Bagara. An ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety and Service to seek quotes and RFQs if required, and to enter into professional engineering service contract for the inspection of State Street, Beechwood Avenue, Sawburg Avenue intersection improvement project at a cost not to exceed $107,000, appropriating the sum of $107,000 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Just a reminder for those of us that weren't at the meetings, we lost our assistant engineer, so we have to hire a firm to be out at this project every day, and that's what this ordinance is covering. So, with that, I'd like to suspend the rules requiring us to go to finance for ordinance 3926.
Heard the suspense, second by Mr. Kiko. Call the roll.
Bagara.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Lomas.
Yes.
Mastroni.
Yes.
Move to adopt ordinance 3926.
Move to adopt, second by Mr. Kiko. Further questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Bagara.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Lomas.
Yes.
Mastroni.
Yes.
Ordinance 4026, introduced by council as a whole, an ordinance ratifying the contract between the City of Alliance and the Fraternal Order of Police, Ohio Labor Council Incorporated, and declaring an emergency.
Council's pleasure.
What's the options on the table?
Yeah, we don't know.
Reject, what, no action? Accept, or you do reject?
What is your choice? Approve.
I make a motion to reject based on, well, we'll have a discussion afterwards.
Okay, move to reject, is there a second?
Motion to reject.
Second by Mr. Kiko. Jerry?
Discussion. The reason that I am asking council to reject this contract
is based on the previous statements made several times tonight in regards to not following the pattern of 633. It's an 833. Note it's just straight 833. There's not even a tier. We're looking for consistency for that pattern, and that would be what I would ask the reconsideration would be if this contract is rejected, is that they accept a 633.
Second? Discussion. Any further discussion? Discussion, questions? I assume you're ready to vote? Call the roll.
Bagera?
Yes.
Cherry?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Kiko?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Lonis?
Yes.
Mastriani?
Yes.
It is rejected.
Ordinance 4126, introduced by Edwards, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety and Service to obtain quotes or advertise for bids as required to award contracts for the cleaning and repair of the number 2 aeration tank at the wastewater treatment plant at a cost not to exceed $440,000 in any case of declaring an emergency.
I move for the suspension of rules requiring this ordinance to go to finance committee.
Okay, move to sustain waiver to finance. Second? Mr. Rivera, call the roll.
Bagera?
Yes.
Cherry?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Kiko?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Lonis?
Yes.
Mastriani?
Yes.
I move the suspension of rules requiring 3 readings for ordinance 41-26.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Rivera? Call the roll.
Bagera?
Yes.
Cherry?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Kiko?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Lonis?
Yes.
Mastriani?
Yes.
I move the adoption of ordinance 41-26.
Been moved to adopt, second by Mr. Mastriani. Further questions or discussion? Yes, Ms. Kiko.
I just would like some clarity because I don't understand why we're walking down this again and I just want to know because in 2024, ordinance 07424, we gave $400,000 for the repair of this tank. That was in August of '24, and then in November of '24, we gave another $440,000 to repair this tank. And so now we're back here in 2026 for another $440,000. Can somebody explain to me why this is so costly? And I gotta ask, like, is tank number 1 okay? How many tanks are there? Is this something that is done on a regular basis? Because this seems extremely expensive.
Josh and Mike, I know we have 3 tanks, right? 1, 2, and 3. And one's been repaired already.
I'm not sure what the second ordinance that you talked about was.
It's ordinance number 5620, yeah.
No, you mentioned the oldest one and this one, and you're talking about the middle one.
Yes, there's 3 of them. We have both.
What is the third one?
This one for $440,000. The first one was 5624. The second one was 7424. And now we're here at, what are we at? 4126.
The 2 and 24 was passed, and I believe that we exceeded the bids and had to come back.
Okay.
So that's one cleaning of it. There's 8 tanks by the way.
Okay.
What happened when we did that? It was late when we got it. Because of the weather, they couldn't finish that tank. So we didn't spend anything near that. But we also didn't complete the cleaning, and that's what this one is to complete that cleaning. Basically, we got into winter time, a very cold winter, they couldn't do it. Or at least couldn't finish it when it got to be that cold. So this is to complete that tank.
So we never spent that $840,000.
We didn't spend it entirely, we spent part of it.
Okay.
We cleaned some of it.
Okay.
It didn't be finished. So this is to complete that cleaning.
Okay, do you have any idea how much we did spend?
It was somewhere around 400 the first time, but because of the weather, they prorated it because it was considered about 80 to 90% finished. It's the tank that we have to have completely empty. Because of the weather, they couldn't finish the project, so now we're putting it out to bid to get this completely finished. So it was, the 800, it was half, under half that. So this is just to clean it out completely, because we have to have it empty.
Okay, so in the future, can we make sure that council is updated on that? Because when I went back and looked, I mean, it looks like we spent, 1.2 million to, because you're going back to 3 ordinances. You got 400,000, 440,000, another 440,000 here.
I believe the one needed to be increased because, yeah, so it's almost like an overlap of the same one. So it wasn't add on top of the first one to get to 800 or 1. It was 4 something the first time, and then now it's the same.
Okay, and how often are these tanks cleaned?
This will be it because it has landfill sludge from several years ago that needs cleaned out, so we actually have a tank that's empty and available for either storm overflows. We just have to have it available. You can't use it if it's got sludge in it. So.
All right, thank
so
you.
It's a once and done.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. That's my only question.
Other question?
Bagheera. Sherry. Edwards. Kiko. King. Lonis. Mastriani. Ordinance 4226, introduced by Edwards, an ordinance establishing rates for residential garbage collection for July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, and declaring an emergency.
Since it's getting close to July 1st, I'll move for suspension of rules for 3 readings for ordinance 42-26.
Bagheera. Sherry. Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko. King. Lonis. Mastriani.
I move for the adoption of ordinance 42-26.
Move to adopt, is there a second? Second by Mr. Mastriani, any further questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Bagheera. Sherry. Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko. King. Lonis. Mastriani. Ordinance 4326, introduced by Edwards, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety and Service to enter into contracts for the purpose of purchasing a new 2026 Ford F-150 XL trucks and necessary components for the wastewater treatment department using cooperative purchase programs if possible, and to advertise for bids if necessary, but at a cost not to exceed $51,469 in any case, and declaring an emergency.
I move for the suspension of rules for ordinance 43-26.
Bagheera. Sherry. Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko. King. Lonis. Mastriani.
I move for the adoption of ordinance 43-26.
Move to adopt, is there a second? Mr. Mastriani, any further questions? Call the roll.
Bagheera. Sherry. Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko. King. Lonis. Mastriani. Ordinance 4426, introduced by Kiko, an ordinance appropriating funds and authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety and Service to enter into contract for the purpose of purchasing 2 new police cruisers through the Cooperative Purchasing Program of the State of Ohio, or to advertise for bids and to enter into contracts with other vendors at the lowest and best price, but for a cost not to exceed $114,000 in any case, and declaring an emergency.
I move to waive finance. Do I have to do that for this? I move to waive this to Finance Committee for consideration.
Bagheera. Sherry. Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko. King. Lonis. Mastriani.
I move to suspend the rules for ordinance 4426.
Move to suspend the reading, second by Mr. Mastriani. Question? Call the roll.
Bagheera? Cherry?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Kiko?
Yes.
King? Lotus? Mastroni?
And I move to adopt ordinance 4426.
Move to adopt, is there a second? Second by Mr. Edwards, questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Bagheera?
Yes.
Cherry?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Kiko?
Yes.
King? Lotus?
Yes.
Mastroni?
Moving on.
For just a moment, can I interject with a question for the next two, one the resolution of the ordinance, before we read it, discussion? Point of order, can I ask you a question? Okay. Do we know, and this might be pointed towards the law director, do we know if AT&T will proceed with their project, whether Resolution 4526 or Ordinance 4626 is passed? Do we have any language?
No discussions with AT&T other than the first meeting.
Does anybody on council know what AT&T would do with, because we can't pass both of them. It's one or the other.
Well, actually,
You can pass both?
You can pass both. One is, the ordinance is just clarifying our fee schedule regarding underground ferrying of cables.
Okay.
You could still enter into your memorandum of understanding, that's the resolution, that's the temporary variance for AT&T.
So you could do both, and I think it's probably maybe even advisable to do both, because the way the fee structure works right now, it's not clear on what utility, what the contract is. So in context for AT&T, I think they came in with a bid of $212,000 for this particular upgrade. The problem is they also we weren't clear about whether or not that's just underground buried cable and aerial. Correct, but we asked AT&T to resubmit their bid minus the aerial, which would have lowered their fee in the first place, and we never got that number. I believe that we never got an updated bid from AT&T minus the aerial number. Because we had been in negotiations saying our engineering department said this shouldn't include anything aerial. And we asked them multiple times for an updated bid, and we never got it. They just want to pay a flat fee of some sort, but they've never even given us a number on what the flat fee should be. So the ordinance clarifies what our fee structure is and what it's for. Your resolution is for if you want to enter into the memorandum of understanding.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Resolution 4526, introduced by Bagheera. A resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between the City of Alliance and the Ohio Bell Telephone Company, doing business as AT&T regarding engineer department inspection fees for telecommunication facilities projects within the public right-of-ways and declaring an emergency.
I move to suspend rules requiring three readings for ordinance 4526.
Move to suspend, second by Mr. Cherry.
I'm sorry, resolution.
Bagheera?
Yes.
Cherry?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes.
Kiko?
Yes.
King? Lotus?
Yes.
Mastriani?
I move to adopt resolution 4526.
Move to adopt, second. Second by Mr. Cherry. Questions or discussion?
Mr. Salva, earlier I think you advised against the memo of understanding, but then did you just say now you do?
No, I still don't think it's a good idea for the city to enter into this memorandum of understanding. It opens you up to every utility company coming and negotiating their fee for what they're going to pay. Right now, we have a set schedule, 2%, 1%, 0.5%.
For the amount of the money on the job. You should keep that. It's what you passed. It's your ordinance. Now you're waiving it for one company, just expect you're gonna have to waive it for every other company. And I'll be honest, between myself, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Knowles, and our engineering department, we probably have 40 hours into this. Our time is worth money too. We're asking for $4,500 on this contract for a fee to our engineering department, and all, your entire city administration, your water record, your auditor have probably put 40, if not more, hours into this. So I'm strongly against waiving anybody's fees, especially a very large company like AT&T. What is $4,500 to them? A rounding error?
My understanding though is that we're not waiving fees, this is so they can get started and we can negotiate, correct? So we haven't waived anything.
What are we negotiating though? Our fee should be our fee. You're bending, you're saying, hey, we're gonna negotiate this. Columbia Gas, I think, wrote a $30,000 check for us for all of the work that they just did. Like, expect that they might want retro action. They paid that fee. So just be careful. All I can tell you is just be careful. If you grant one exemption, AT&T's got more projects planned, correct? Correct. They're gonna continue to ask for these things. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's not me. I'm worried that if you grant it once, you're gonna have to keep granting it. Because you can't parse out AT&T and not do it for everyone else.
I would just like to state that during Finance Committee meeting when we had this, it was, what we passed as the members of the committee was accepting the MOU to give time to see if our engineering inspection fees were compliant with PUCO. That's what we passed. Tonight you said that they are compliant with PUCO.
No, I said I didn't check with PUCO. I'm saying they're
So
statutorily correct.
there's a difference between this allowing every business in the future to ask for discounts. We had the stipulation that we would do this MOU, and then during that time period, we would find out if our engineering fees are in compliance with PUCO regulations. Once that's found, then those fees would be instilled. But we don't know if they're in compliance with PUCO. That was the reason we're doing this, to move the project along,
I
to allow
understand,
time for us to address this issue with PUCO. Once it's then answered, then
If this is an issue with AT&T,
But it
don't
doesn't
you think
open
it's
up
an
all
issue
other
with
businesses.
It does, because you've
That's
already enforced your fees.
No, they'll be either approved or not approved by PUCO. We don't know that.
Your fee structure, all right, so you're taking the position that if we don't know that they're valid in compliance, you've already accepted money, the city has already accepted money from those other agencies. Our only position is to say that those fees are
I
correct.
see your point there.
So I don't want to do a refund.
I see your point.
All right, Mr. Edwards?
When I reviewed this MOU, it kept bringing up the Ohio Revised Code 4939.05. I looked that up. It's so ambivalent that you could read anything into it. And you're trying to tie us to that code. I just, well, what Andrew said, I just don't see it.
Okay, any other comments or questions regarding that issue?
We have a motion by McGurran and second by Chairman.
All right, any questions or further discussion? Next time, we're ready to vote.
Any other entity. You're telling me now, if we pass this ordinance 4526, that would, resolution 4526, that would give every utility company.
I think the first paragraph of that memorandum of understanding says that you are not everybody moved over this fee structure. So I think it opens you up to liability. I have my outside voice.
All right, further discussion on this question?
The motion is to adopt, correct?
Yes. Bagheera.
Yes.
Sherry.
I'm gonna say no.
Edwards.
No.
Kiko.
Yes.
King.
No.
Lonis.
No.
Mastriani.
No.
5 noes. Ordinance 4626 introduced by Bagheera. An ordinance amending section 117.02 of the codified ordinances of the City of Alliance to update and establish engineering and planning fees and declaring an emergency.
No action.
No action. Moving on.
Old business. Ordinance 1926 introduced by Mastriani. An ordinance to amend Part 11 Planning and Zoning Code of the Alliance Codified Ordinances by amending section 1122.03.
I move for the adoption of ordinance 1926.
Move to adopt, is there a second? Second by Mr. Edwards. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Bagheera.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Lonis.
Yes.
Mastriani.
Yes.
Okay, at this point in time, we have moved 3726 to the end of the agenda because it requires an executive session. So at this point in time, can I have a motion to go into executive session?
I have the paper, okay. I got to read tonight. Administration was requesting the Alliance City Council enter into executive session at their regular meeting on Monday, June 15th, 2026, at the conclusion of regular business agenda to discuss the following. As provided by Ohio Revised Code 121-22, parentheses, G, parentheses 8, to consider confidential information related to the marketing plans, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal finance statements of an applicant for economic development assistance or to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance, provided that both of the following conditions apply. There may be council action at the conclusion of the executive session. To be included in the executive session are members of council, the mayor, safety service director, law director, auditor, clerk of council, and the director of planning development, and Rick Baxter.
Second.
Bagheera.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
Edwards.
Yes.
Kiko. Yes. King. Yes. Lonis.
Question, we will be doing business after.
There's a very good possibility after.
Yes.
Mastriani.
Okay, folks, thank you very much for coming. At this point in time, I will ask that anybody who is not listed in that chapter, we need to vacate the premises so that we can do this in discussion quietly.